Boots and Heels. We're glad you joined us.
I'm Boots.
And I'm Heels. Yeah, we got a lot going on in this world. I mean, it's a mad, sad world right now.
Kind of a mosh pit.
It's kind of a bit of a swampy mosh pit.
Well, people have questions.
Yeah.
Like, will the shipping container Grinch steal Christmas?
Oh.
That's one.
Will it?
I don't.
It might.
It might.
I mean, if you really look at it, it just might do that.
Well, but not really, because the shipping Grinch can't actually steal Christmas because Christmas is about the love of Christ in the world.
Exactly.
So that can't be stolen, that can't be replaced, and maybe we all need a break from consumption.
That's true. The birth of our Lord and Savior, absolutely. So we need to remember it's almost time for Christmas too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you notice all the Christmas stuff was out even before Halloween stuff?
Well, in June, Hobby Lobby says that
really
it's
don't
almost
like
Christmas
that
time.
Too much, do you?
It's a little bit of a push.
Yeah, it is. So we got a lot going on in the world. I think one of the biggest things that I'm having a big issue too is with government overreach. I mean, it's just, it's gone rampant. It's crazy. I mean, they're talking about, raising our debt limit. Adding on another $480 billion to make it what, 29 trillion or some crazy number like that. I don't even know if I got the numbers right, but I'm telling you, it's a lot of money.
We're becoming dependent on foreign aid ourselves from China because this is just, it makes no sense.
It really doesn't.
The day that we decided that we did not have to have a balanced budget is the day we started down the slippery slope of our demise.
Yeah, more free money, which really, what that really does too, in this insanity, is causing literally the government to be in competition with our small businesses. It really is. So we've seen a lot happen over this administration, and that's one of them that I really have a pet peeve with, because I see these small businesses struggling already, as we all the audience out there knows, and this is just adding to it. Our tax dollars are being thrown out there in rapid pace to fund really
the demise of small business and free trade.
Yeah, which is
also
what makes up America,
right?
You know, so.
Privacy to your money, your privacy, and the government wants control of everything. They don't want you to have your own money. They actually don't want you to have property. They don't want you to have anything. They want to control everything. And this is just more and more steps toward that.
Just to give you a great idea, $5 trillion is proposed for new IRS agents to basically monitor and spy on the American people. And if you have $600 in your bank account, they're going to know what you're doing with it, whether it's a Disney trip or whether it's for bills or whatever. They're going to know and monitor that. Now, talk about overreach. That's a little bit overreach.
What I have to say is Nino. Nino business. Nino business.
Yeah.
Keep out of it and butt out. For one thing, that's an infringement on my rights. You don't need to know that I bought toilet paper at Aldi's on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Because I hate Walmart.
Oh.
But anyway,
did you say that?
Nobody needs to know that. That's nobody's business.
Funding there.
And it's not the slave master's business, because I don't have a slave master, and neither should you.
Yeah.
It's not their business, none of your business. And furthermore, another thing I have a problem with, a huge problem, is the idea that this... I have a lot of problems, but my problem with this is this bureaucracy that mismanages, misspends, and pays absolutely no attention to the Constitution of the United States, has no business telling anyone how to spend or not spend their hard-earned wages.
Yeah. Whenever they said $600, I'm like, well, they must have looked at mine first.
Shouldn't we be more concerned with how someone who has a salary of $170,000 a year approximately, that we pay them from our hard-earned wages, shouldn't we be more concerned with how they amass wealth of hundreds of millions of dollars of private wealth off of those types of incomes? That's what I'm concerned with.
Makes one wonder, doesn't it?
Not the guy who makes $15 an hour has $600 in their bank account. None of your business.
Yeah. And what about the FBI? Literally looking into people that social media is helping out with all of this, too, by the way. And even parents at school board meetings. Talk about a mad, sad world. Even the school board meetings, you're not allowed to speak out literally, you're not allowed to speak out about your beliefs or what you want to go on with your child. And isn't there someone running for governor right now in Virginia that actually is quoted saying that parents should not be involved in what is taught in schools, and in your child's education? You're not supposed to be involved in that. I mean, talk about a crazy, sad, mad world. Yeah.
What actually concerns me more is not the fact that there are leftist communists trying to push this agenda, because we all know they were coming for us. But the fact that the average American doesn't raise an eyebrow at this, not even the fact that we're not taking to the streets and we're not protesting over this to let them know. But we sit at home, people sit at home, and they twiddle their thumbs.
It's complacency. It really is complacency, and we need to not do that. I don't think our audience is. I mean,
I don't believe that our audience is.
I've read over so many comments, and I'm really amazed by that. Yes, thank you so much for that. I mean, that's why we decided to do this, is get commentary and have a conversation with people out there. Reinforces that, our belief is much like most of the rest of the country.
We wanted everyone to know, because they want to isolate us and make us feel like we're the only ones, and we're not, and we know we're not. And part of the reason we decided to do this is so that everybody would have a voice in this, and your comments and your messages mean the world.
It sure does help. And the critical race theory, I mean, my goodness, I mean, how crazy can this get? And then, it goes on to basically, what about the little gal that, there's a little girl that went into a restroom, there's a boy that's dressed in a skirt and raped her. And this father tried to speak out even about the rape of his child at a school board meeting.
And he's told that he's a bigot.
And he's the bigot, and he's the problem. He's the problematic person that's causing havoc and trouble. And then this person went on to also sexually assault another person soon after that. So you're not supposed to say anything about it, though. You're not supposed to.
Well, basically,
the parents of the child is not supposed to be upset about that. The parents of the other child is supposed to be offended that you didn't like it, that your child was raped
in the bathroom.
I mean, this is how upside down and lopsided it's become. I mean, it's crazy. If I'm not saying anything bad about transgender or anything like that. That's not what that's not what that sentence is about. It's about the fact that you cannot speak out about something even as violent as that.
Okay, I'm going to say this. You're much less likely to be sexually assaulted by a male with a penis if a male with a penis is not allowed into your bathroom.
Yes. How hard is that to understand?
I don't think it's very difficult.
And it's just like, to me, the craziness of all of this is really just like everything that would make sense. Somebody's sitting there and writing it out and saying, oh, this makes too much sense. Let's screw with it. Let's screw it and turn it upside down and vote differently. Look at the border. Look at the situation at the border and all of that infrastructure and all of that money. I mean, I don't know how many millions of dollars per day that it's costing to not build the wall. To not build the wall. They're literally, people are driving around in trucks right now with no job while they try to figure out some sort of compensation situation. And it's costing us contracts, not millions, but billions of dollars to not build the wall. And why wouldn't you want to build the wall? Because we need a border, people. I mean, I can't say it enough. I don't understand any of this. It's just bizarre. It's totally bizarre.
The inmates now control the asylum.
That's exactly what's going on. It's like a really bad horror film.
It is. Well, it's Halloween.
I mean, it's pretty bad when the light of your life and the light of your world, because we dive into politics every day, is going and rescuing animals off the streets. We get so much joy out of that, and that's a terrible situation too, but we do it.
But at least
it relieves me of the stress knowing that I'm actually helping out there. I'm hoping this makes a little bit of difference. I'm hoping one person watches us and says, okay, those gals from Arkansas, maybe they're making a little bit of sense, and maybe I need to think about some things and actually use my own head and actually wrap my brain around a few things. And if we can just do that, then I'm pretty happy with this. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad when the light of your world is literally, helping, take an animal off the highway. Right. I mean, for real. And we do that a lot, actually.
We do it a whole lot.
I mean, we're constantly doing that. We're constantly delivering hay. We're doing whatever we can, and winter's coming on. So people also, on that note, we have Pets No Politics, of course, and what we hope that you will do for the winter is make sure that your pets are warm, and if you know of a neighbor or a friend or anybody, step up and do some help there, and go take them some hay if you have to.
I think the message that we try to convey is we seem to have spiraled into a pit of a lack of control over the powers that be.
Yeah.
Because the slave masters have really set us up to really not have a lot of control here. So
they keep setting us up for failure.
They keep setting us up for failure and a loss of control. And a lot of people feel powerless. And what we're trying to say is, in this world of feeling powerless, we can still do good things that make a difference, and we can come together, and we can maybe kind of try to bond together over this craziness and make a difference.
Yeah, kind of a good example of craziness and setting us up for failure. Look at the Afghanistan debacle. We've talked about that on earlier podcasts. But then to immediately fund, all that money, they say, to relocate, Afghan refugees. And I'm not opposed to helping people, but I mean, we got a lot of people that need help here too as well.
The reality of the situation is, this administration, these people, these slave masters have a way of creating crisis. They have created refugee crisis their entire careers.
Yeah.
The largest refugee crisis we've had since World War II was created by this administration, and now they're doing it again. But the average American is starting to catch on.
Yeah.
The average American, average working tax-paying American that is tired of having their wages stolen is also tired of created crisis and the bad acting that's going on with this administration. We know what they are doing. Yeah. Now what we have to do is we have to ask ourselves, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, they create the fiasco, and then they turn around and they spend billions of dollars in makeup money out of our pockets.
Right.
I mean, that's the reality.
What are we going to do?
We got to do something.
We need to ask ourselves.
We can't be complacent.
We can't be complacent. We can't be apathetic, because that has gotten us to this point.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
That's exactly right. Just on a footnote too, I was also talking about the January 6ers. I mean, guys, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No.
Not everybody's happy about people going into the Capitol. There's no question about that. But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'd just like to say,
no. And the 14th
on this topic,
the 14th Amendment is supposed to ensure that we have our rights kept in place, and that there has to be due process levied equally among all. That laws aren't just for some and not for all, and the protection of your civil liberties isn't just for some; it's for all.
Yeah, you have a lawyer out there, Joseph McBride, that is just phenomenal with this. He's really dove into what's going on in the jail. Still, lots of people are still incarcerated, and they haven't even been tried yet.
Yeah.
And he sent a message over to us, to Boots and Heels, and they're actually doing a beautiful thing at about 7 o'clock every night. So at 7 p.m., if you ever think about it, they're actually singing. You can hear the national anthem being sung through the halls of the jail by the inmates that are still being held there.
I think that's something. I think that they've started a trend, and I think that's something that we could follow up on. And a 7 o'clock p.m. Singing of the national anthem is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, from what I'm understanding, it was started by Richard Barnett, and then it just he got out a few months ago, and then it's still happening every single night. And patriotic sound rolling through the hallways. And from what I'm also understanding, it's pissing off a lot of Democrats that are having to hear it, and it's annoying them. Which who could be annoyed by the national anthem? Obviously,
a communist.
A lot of people. So I mean, they need to have the due process, and justice needs to be played out.
Right.
They're being abused, from what I understand, and it's
they're
really bad.
Prisoners.
So,
but I want to say thank you. Yeah. Thank you to brave men like Joseph McBride that are willing to take on the slave masters in the name of liberty and justice, and liberty and justice for all. And by the way, he's awfully cute too. So he's
adorable.
He's adorable. He's off, ladies. Yeah. He's awfully easy on the eyes.
Yeah, he's real easy on the eyes.
He's a great family man with children. He's precious, but man, nice to look at.
That It's true.
Cheers to you,
He's
Joe McBride.
he is the lion. I mean,
he is the lion.
I talked about this before. He's like the Daniel in the lion's den.
Right.
Took a lot of faith to turn your back on flesh-eating lions, and pretty much that's the atmosphere that he's in, defending some of these people of January 6ers. And but he believes in due process, and he believes in justice.
Absolutely.
He's a justice seeker, and so hats off to you for helping these folks out.
Thank you so much.
And definitely want to just reach out and say hi to him, and
absolutely, and keep up the good fight.
Keep up the good fight.
And you have support.
You can look him up too, by the way. New York. I mean, it's a McBride law firm, and doing wonderful work out there.
He is. So. He's doing God's work, because God wants us to ensure that our inalienable rights and our liberties are kept intact, and that the laws are levied equally for all men.
Yeah.
And women, but I mean,
for sure. Yeah.
Not to be. We're just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, we're going to leave it at that. But anyway, if you could, please subscribe on our YouTube channel, and also check us out on redbootsandheels.com. We have Pets No Politics on there. And again, Boots and I are always rescuing, so hopefully you're enjoying some of those videos. We try to film some of those for you. And for now, just kind of wanted to roughly go over a few things, and get you invited into a conversation about it, and maybe a lot of things we don't even know. So
please
we learn a lot. We learn a lot.
Please
from
comment
from our people. So
we love the comments. We love reading through the comments.
Yeah,
and,
we do.
And honestly, I learn a little each day from every one of you. I do. I mean, and I know that Heels does also.
Yeah. So thank you. So for now, we're just going to say so long till next time, and
Absolutely.
we'll see you soon. Bye
Bye.